Hello and welcome to the Latence Records Craze podcast. We've got
Latent.
Myself, Alistair. Should have introduced myself first, but we'll go this way anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And we've also got
Powers.
either first or at the end probably makes more sense to do it that way.
Yeah.
Well, we'll carry on. It's been a while since we've been on. So a couple of us been a bit ill.
I've been ill. I'm still ill. Still got a chest infection.
Yeah.
So if I have a cough a lot, I'm sorry.
A couple of months.
Yeah, I think it's been about 5 weeks, isn't it? Which is quite a long time in the podcast land.
Yes.
Yeah.
That is a while.
Also, I've had a new addition to the family.
Oh yes, your little pug.
Yeah, I've got a little, what they call frug. French bulldog cross pug.
He's currently sitting under the table.
Yes.
He's very good, very well behaved.
Yes, he's lovely. Louis, my little Louis. So yeah, I've been in between being ill and obviously bonding with my new little boy. Yeah, so it's been a while. Sorry about that, but we're back.
Yeah. I mean, have you guys done anything interesting in the last 5 weeks?
Well, apart from me getting my new dog.
Get your bug, apart from that. Apart from that.
And travelling off a little bit, but not far, do you know what I mean? Just getting out and about and just kind of like spending some time away from the studio and spending some time away from everything and playing some golf and hanging out with some old mates and stuff. It's, just really just living a bit of life, really.
Yeah, I've been cracking on doing some recording. Well, you've been away from the studio. I've probably been more in my studio. I've been doing more bits in my one.
Yeah, I have as well. Particularly last couple of weeks, been in the studio, working on new projects.
Yeah, it's been some good progress the last month actually on that front. Yeah. So been away from the podcast, but doing bits elsewhere.
Yes. And obviously we've been working on the release, hopefully next week, of an album and a video. So yeah, but it's all good.
Yeah. Any good movies seen at all recently?
Well, we've just found out that you saw...
Oh yeah, Split. I saw Split.
Yeah, last.
I was trying to talk about the end.
It has been like months since we last mentioned, since we first mentioned Split and couldn't.
I was like,
I'll
watch it. Yeah, finally did it. Yeah, no, it's good. Good movie.
Yeah, James McAvoy really acts well. He shows what he can do in that film.
I can see why, because I saw some people were saying that it just was a bit too supernatural, and I would say those are probably the people who haven't seen Unbreakable.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And so you don't get the because even I was thinking during it, going into it, I was like, oh, this is a bit weird again for M. Night Shyamalan. And then when that final twist, which by the way, spoilers, which probably already mentioned actually by mentioning Unbreakable, it's actually, it shows that it's a sequel to Unbreakable right at the end of the movie, literally right at the very end.
Yeah, Bruce Willis is sitting there and they mention Mr. Glass.
Yeah. Well, you notice it if you've seen the first Unbreakable, it's when the music starts coming, you're just a bit like, because they use the soundtrack from Unbreakable right at the end.
Yeah, it was a really nice touch, leaving that right till the end. And I think we did quite a good job of keeping that quiet from you.
Yeah, he did keep it quiet from me. It was good, because I do like Unbreakable.
Yeah.
So it's a good surprise to see that. So even I thought it was going a bit... Wasn't sure where it was going until that point. Although I got a couple of hints that it was Unbreakable by a few shots that they used in the movie. Cause there's a part where he goes to the train station and goes on the train for when the beast starts coming out, and I was like, oh, that looks a bit like, and it had the train line company, and I went, could this is in the same world as Unbreakable possibly?
Yeah, it was nicely done.
Well, I was expected to be right at the very end of the movie where they finally, because it's literally in the last few minutes.
And I do remember the first time I ever watched Unbreakable, it always has, until it confirms everything, it kind of makes you question, is this superpowers that they're getting, or is this just, he just happens to be stronger than he thought? And it was similar in this, is he just mad, or is this beast actually something more powerful? Is it going to come out? And it doesn't answer that till the end.
Because it's a bit weird. Because Unbreakable doesn't totally answer it to the end, but it gives kind of hints that there is something a bit more supernatural, rather than at the very start of or the first half of Split. It plays it very straight, that split personality and things. And then when it starts getting really supernatural, it seems a bit offbeat slightly. And because they haven't really established a supernatural aspect in this universe. And then when they reveal it's Unbreakable, you're a bit like, oh no, they have established it. It was in the other movie. They've established that this stuff happens.
The thing I liked about this Split was towards the end, it took me back to the 80s when there was a film called Altered States. Have you ever seen Altered States?
I haven't seen it. I recognise the name now. I might have.
Well, I was into the Carlos Castaneda books, Teachings of Don Juan, Separate Reality, about the Yaqui Indians and how they take, peyote and mescaline and become other beings, spiritual eagles and stuff. Shapeshifters, basically. How they could shapeshift. I mean, it's a book, but it kind of reminded me a bit of that Altered States film, because he takes all that and then gets into a flotation tank, so he's completely cut off, and then at one point he comes out and he's not human anymore. He's managed to morph his body, so it's kind of like, for me, it's mind over matter. Can you do this? If your mind is that pure in its illness that you think you can manipulate your body, can you? Because, and this is something I don't normally go into, but when I was in hospital, they said to me, your body's amazing because your heart has tried to grow another artery, and it was like 0.5 centimetre away of meeting up from the artery at the bottom. So it had grown a good 5 centimetres, and it knew it was in trouble, and it grew another fucking artery. So, I love the body. When the body manipulates itself, I love all that. And at the end, when you see him changing, to me it was like a bit of Altered States in it. Do you know what I mean? It was just like, so I really liked it.
I loved how it flips the purity of people. It's like it's not the pure ones who are untouched by evil in the world. It's the ones who have had pain, who he sees as pure as. And so those are the ones that he doesn't go after. Because of his history and things. Because obviously he had pain when he was a child, and so his split personalities kind of embody that slightly.
I don't know if I've seen any good films. I've seen a few, watched a few. I watched that Snatched. It was funny in bits, but the main thing to me was I couldn't believe I was looking at Goldie Hawn. What the fuck has she done to her face?
Well, she is like 70.
But no, she has fucked up her face.
I've seen the trailer for it. I just thought she looked old. She looked old, but like she was still trying to look like she was in her 40s.
I don't know if it's Botox or surgery, but wow.
That's usually what it is. Although, what's the name of the actress from Sex and the City who was the blonde, slutty one? Kim Cattrall. Yeah, because she's 60-ish now, but she's never had any plastic surgery, and she looks really good. She just does all the healthy eating and the yoga and all of that stuff. A bit like Madonna.
So horrible when people get Botox. So I just feel like just looks
instantly looks wrong. Doesn't it?
It looks like her face has just morphed into the centre of her head. I mean, it just looks like it's all gone really small.
Do you know
into
what
the centre of her, like a Predator. I don't mean to be nasty. I'm so sorry, but
the way you're describing that, it just reminds me of, you remember Ali from Rick and Morty, the little beards.
Oh yeah.
If you have a big head and a tiny face.
Yeah.
That's what it looked like to me. I was thinking, what the fuck? Apart from that, I mean, I've seen quite a few films. There was one that really pissed me off. When you start watching a film, and you've watched it now for like an hour and 20 minutes, and you're so into it that you don't want to get up and turn it off.
Yeah.
But it's so shit. It was called The Shack. With Sam
Sounds
Worthington.
like a horror film.
There's so much that comes out now that if I realise that it's kind of not really...
I duck out early on,
done. I'm just a bit like, this isn't happening.
I don't want to get blasphemous or anything like that, but Basically, this is a spoiler, but this is why it pissed me off. This guy takes his kids somewhere, and then whilst he's with his son and his daughter, his little baby daughter gets kidnapped and obviously killed by this guy, right? God knows what else happens to her, but you know. And he finds her coat and all this blood in this shack, and then gets a letter saying, "Meet me at the shack, Papa." Now their whole family call God when they go to church Papa. So he goes to this shack and meets God and Jesus.
Well, actual God and Jesus.
Actual God and Jesus. God's played by a woman, a black woman. She's been in loads of things. I think she was in some fucking American medical thing. Right. Now, I'm not being funny, but if your child had been, I mean, your like 4 or 5 year old kid has been kidnapped and probably, I don't want to go into details, but, and then killed, if you come face to face with God, you'd batter him to fucking death, wouldn't you? For allowing that to happen to your kid. He's supposed to be the God Almighty, omnipotent.
Yeah.
This guy rolls over. Might as well go, fuck me. Do you know what I mean? I was like, really? Punch him in the face at least.
Mm.
For fuck's sake, do something. Look at what happened to your... That's why it pissed me off. I'm sorry, but no way.
I understand, man.
You'd at least punch him in the face.
I remember a little while ago, Stephen Fry made a very poignant speech about why he hates God. Whether God, he doesn't say about whether he believes in God or not, but he does say he thinks that God is an evil bastard. And yeah, he went. If you ever look up Stephen Fry's speech about God on YouTube, he really sums it all up about giving. Like I remember Ricky Gervais once made a joke about it where people were talking to God, and someone had said something like they'd been praying for God to come and save a tree that was going to get cut down that had been in this village for a long time, and then they're praying to God, and then he doesn't save the tree, and the tree gets cut down, and then they finally speak to God and they say, why didn't you help? We were asking you to help us to save this tree, and God said, oh no, I was busy in Africa giving AIDS to babies. And that pretty much sums up what Stephen Fry had to say about God.
I just, yeah. I mean, for me, if I was God, right, I'm omnipotent and I'm God and I created all and am all and be all and see all and fucking am God. If somebody's child goes through that, when they turn up on my doorstep, turn the other cheek. No, what is it? Offer the other cheek or whatever, right? I don't know what it is, fucking whatever.
Yeah.
I'd expect to get punched in the fucking face. Because at the end of the day, I know that I shouldn't, you know, people say, I believe in miracles and da-da-da, and this happened because God made it happen. Well, God made my child get murdered, raped and fucking killed. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So he's getting punched in the fucking face. You'd at least slap him through anger, wouldn't you? If some guy, right, if some guy gets out and even just slaps your kid, you knock them the fuck out, didn't you? Do you not?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, why are you not laying into this guy? Why are you not? I don't understand what I'm watching here. If that was me, I'd be annihilating this guy.
But when you talk about things to do with God and faith and that though, that it sounds to me like this story was quite similar to the story of Abraham in the Bible, where God commanded him to take his son up to the top of the hill and to kill him for God. He had to kill his own son because God asked him to. And then when he got to the top and he was about to do it, and he was definitely going to do it, God intervened and said, okay, I see that your faith is real. So he said, you don't have to do it. But that's the thing, like people's faith being tested. But my belief, I'm not a religious person in any kind of way, and I believe that if there is some kind of being that created everything in the universe, it does not give a shit about what's on Earth any more than a scientist with a piece of dust that has bacteria on it cares what those bacteria are doing to each other.
That's probably the more likelihood thing, is that we are a speck of dust on another universe that's further out there when you expand yourself out.
Yeah, God doesn't watch us. You know, like if there is a creator out there, he doesn't watch all of us individually and make things happen to us.
Assuming we think we're the special snowflake, that we're unique and stuff, but more and more, as the scientists look out and things, they're going, oh yeah, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh look, this is everywhere.
Yeah, planets that could sustain life. There's loads of them. So, and it'll be the time eventually when there is some kind of indisputable proof that there is another life form out there.
Well, the other argument is that the universe is still actually quite young in the concept of the universe, and we could potentially be the first ones.
Potentially,
First ones to our level
to get to this level of complexity. Yeah.
No,
we could be,
or to go beyond the same challenges that we're facing right now.
No.
If you think that life on Earth began somewhere between 4 and 5 billion years ago, so it's taken that many billions of years.
How long did the Big Bang start?
It was like 9 point something billion years ago.
So there's planets with life on it, millions of years.
I agree.
Us.
They're very well maybe, but they very well may not be as well.
Oh, of course there is.
Like some people believe that life came to our planet from like some asteroid that had come from another planet, and there was some kind of living cells on there, and they were we were talking about the Alien Covenant film earlier, but if you watch Prometheus, the idea of that is that life on Earth started because this alien creature came and put all its DNA into the.
I mean, the thing is, for me, it's a no-brainer that we're not the only ones. We're not the only ones, right?
Yeah.
To think that we're the only ones is fucking ridiculous, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there has been life out there for millions of years before our planet was even dust. So they've got to be more advanced than us. They have to be.
Yeah, I see your point, and
they have to be. But I mean, we all fucking lord up over our own planets, thinking that we are godlike people. Do you know what I mean?
Mm.
But for me, I definitely don't think that we are the smartest people in the galaxy. There has to be people out there that are smarter than us. There has to be, because I'm not a religious guy. Right? I prefer philosophies like Buddhism, and but if there is a godlike creature, I would hope he's a fucking alien that come by on his little spaceship one day and went, oh, that's a good looking planet. Had a little check, no life, created a bit of life, and thought, I'm going to come back in a couple of thousand years to see how that gets on.
Well, yeah, and that is
not
the Prometheus
God.
story.
Yeah, not God did it, but some guy just going past on his little spaceship.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Like the paperboy, just chuck the paper there.
Yeah, exactly.
And rode
That's
off.
what I would like to think of it.
Yeah.
So then, if that is how my mind works, then there are people out there that are far more fucking... And I'm not being funny, but if we do see UFOs, if we do see these things, and even people in NASA have now started to admit, yeah, we do see them, and there are unexplained stuff floating about in the skies, well, we can't fucking get to other planets. We can just barely get to the fucking moon. Yeah. So these people have got to be way more advanced than us.
Yeah. If there is any kind of life form that has managed to get to our planet from their planet, then yeah, they're more advanced than we are. I just wonder if whenever our scientists are looking out to the stars for signs of possible life elsewhere in the galaxy, they always look to see if there's a planet that would be similar to ours, so that it could host life as we know it. But I wonder if there could be some kind of completely different type of life form that isn't carbon based, that doesn't require water, and I really don't know.
That's still always a possibility, but obviously we need to hedge our bets in where we're looking. Yeah, and obviously we have to go on what we basically know.
But the thing is there's just that red herring, isn't there? Because as long as we think that we're looking, we're blind to the fact that people already know. Mm. Conspiracies.
There's a lot
see
of
where I'm going
with
this?
There's a lot of alien ones, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But no, in all honesty, if you look at the Roswell, and if you look at, Area 51, and, all these people that have had top security passes that are now saying to the public, don't be deceived, you've been mugged off. And if you actually get into it and delve into it, ufology, you find out that we've been being visited before there were humans here, as in cave drawings of spacemen.
Yeah, the Mayans and the ancient Egyptians seem to have.
So it is a mind fuck. You can't go into it. You'll be there for the rest, for the next 4 years, talking about this and that and this and that. It is a complete mind fuck. I love it all. I'm well on board with it all. But to me, why are we looking for life out there when we already know there's life out there? We already know. It's already visited this planet. That's a given. And that's not just me being absolutely fucking mental, and I agree, I am fucking mental, but it's a given. Because if there's thousands of year-old fucking drawings on caves of a fucking spaceship and a guy with a fucking helmet on, I'm sorry, but it's a given.
I suppose the only question mark with that particular evidence, like, there's no doubt that those things exist, those images exist, but I just wonder, like, people nowadays can imagine things that they haven't seen before, and I just wonder, I know it's kind of uncanny that they're wearing helmets and things, and obviously the Mayans and these ancient civilizations did not have helmets, and they did not have aeroplanes, let alone spaceships. But I just wonder if it is possible that they could have imagined such things happening, if they could have imagined it. I really...
That's a possibility.
Yeah. Because my main access to ideas about alien invasions has really come from movies and stories. And
I studied ufology for years.
Oh, yeah, I get you. But I'm thinking, like, that you get this idea of a massive invasion, like in Independence Day or in Battlefield LA or something, where this huge alien force comes down and they want to take the world by force. But I think much more compelling is the idea in films like The Fourth Kind and Signs and that, where they have already been here for a long time, and they don't need to make a big play and kill us all, because they can just get what they need from us without us even knowing that they were ever here.
Exactly. And it's like what you said about the scientist with the piece of dust with microorganisms on.
Yeah.
Us compared to them, we're just like an algae.
Yeah.
Why would they fucking even bother?
Or this is just a simulation.
Yeah, this is the Matrix.
Yeah, exactly.
Considering that where our computers are getting to already, and simulations and things, you're like, in the next 100 years we could probably make something equally advanced as a simulation.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, well, if we can possibly make that, what's to say that we're not already there?
The world is flat and all that stuff, isn't it? You know, like, again, we could just go into that for ages and ages.
But no, the world isn't flat.
That reminds me, actually, I did see...
Isn't it?
No, it's
Isn't
not.
it?
I did
just
watch...
look
Mr.
from
Ali.
different points on the planet and the horizon, and then you know the Earth isn't flat.
the Earth is not
all
flat.
These people who say, I don't know why it's suddenly risen back up again.
I think those people are taking the piss.
Me off.
Those people are just taking the piss.
Are.
Yeah.
Did you see that guy who flipping put a level on a plane? It's a recent video that's come out. And she went, because the level doesn't move in the gravitational forces, that means the Earth is flat. I was like, no, because the forces are different when you're up there. And do you know how a level works? Because it sounds like you don't even know that. And you're trying to prove that the Earth is flat based on this.
But yeah, like, one film that did come out in the last few weeks that I saw was that Ghost in the Shell.
I haven't seen that yet.
I've seen it. I watched it.
I haven't seen them.
You've not watched it yet. I was a little bit disappointed, but I knew I would be. And the reason I was disappointed is because the original Ghost in the Shell really does explore like philosophical ideas, like existential ideas.
Yeah, I heard that they kind of put it in there.
It was in there.
They didn't really explore it.
No, what they went into more in this was just this idea that this company, it was like a big conspiracy type thing where this company had been doing something like experiments for a long time on people, and it was really they focused more on that, whereas the original idea of Ghost in the Shell was like questioning what it is to be human, and like when you're talking about ideas of a simulation like in the Matrix, because that all goes back to really old philosophical questions by people like Descartes and stuff about whether or not we can believe what we see around us and what is the nature of reality and and so the new Ghost in the Shell visually was very impressive, but other than that I think it lacked some depth, which was disappointing.
Yeah,
it's like they tried to dumb it down for a Western audience.
You won't get enough one anyway. It bombed at the box office.
Yeah, I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, it's a shame. It's a shame because like, they didn't need to dumb it down for a Western audience, because the Western audience, most of them had already seen the original Ghost in the Shell. And I know that a lot of Japanese people in particular were annoyed about how they whitewashed all the characters. There was only one Japanese character in it. And even though the Major is supposed to be a Japanese person, but she's been put in this cyborg body that looks like Scarlett Johansson. But yeah, I can see why Japanese people were annoyed about that.
Why would you do that if you're in Japan?
Yeah, they were in Japan, yeah.
You'd base it off the people around you, or the most common denominator. So, just blend in as well. Because if you're an agent of some sort in any society, if you're built up as a body, surely you'd want to be the most... I know she's got camouflage things, but... Yeah. But you'd still kind of, in an environment, if you're just talking to normal people, you'd want to blend in. Yeah.
I suppose, I think one thing that they were trying to push is this idea that in the future, these racial boundaries went, and that was a thing in the first one, except that in the first one they did say that despite all of the advances in technology, racial differences and cultural differences still remained. But in this, it seemed like, I mean, the doctor who was making all of the cyborgs was a French woman, and they had a Japanese guy.
They kind of might have done, in that aspect.
Yeah, it was like all of this international cooperation.
I can't really, don't know what I'm commenting because I haven't seen it. So.
No. It's worth watching it, especially if you were a fan of the original Ghost in the Shell, but it's not great.
Yeah. Yeah, no. What I talk about sci-fi. I saw Guardians of the Galaxy. I won't go into detail because you haven't seen it.
I have to watch the first one again first.
The second one's good. My only comment, which I said to Will already, was they kind of tried to do character backstory a bit more and kind of go into the motivations of the characters and the bad guys better than the second one, but they kind of overdo it a bit too much because they do it through conversations between two different characters, kind of constantly. And it's just a bit like, oh, here's my this is why I'm like this. This is why. It's a bit like, right, you get away with that possibly twice in a movie. Once you start in the third, you go pushing it, but I swear they do it about 4 times. And I was a bit like, oh, we're doing this again and again. Okay. But the action was good, and the bad guy is better than the first one, where it was just run of the mill.
Yeah, he was.
Marvel villain's gonna destroy the world. Yeah. Oh look, we beat him because he destroyed the world, but the bad guy in Galaxies 2 has a bit of a better outcome. Oh, and there's a new Star Trek as well.
Yeah, in the works. Yeah.
Oh, is it?
Yep, and they've released a trailer for it.
Yeah, I did see that.
Have you seen the trailer for it? Right. It was supposed to come out last year, that series. Right. And they postponed it due to post-production.
Due to post-production?
Yeah. And I think if you look at that trailer, you go, I think they've ramped up the post-production a bit, and it's very J.J. Abrams Star Trek still, looking at the style of it.
Is he involved in any way?
No, but I think the writers, some of the writers were involved in those Star Treks. Because they kept on pushing, it's the Prime storyline, but this is set before the storyline, the timeline split. So of course it's going to be the Prime one because you've not hit that point yet where the timeline split completely. So it's a bit like, because it's kind of set 10 years before Kirk and Spock and all that.
Oh, right, so it's earlier.
Yeah, it's earlier. But yeah, it looks interesting. We'll see. It's on Netflix here anyway.
Yeah.
I think they're doing a different streaming service in America, but
it's interesting what you were saying about the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy being an improvement, because I think that nowadays there's so many big, huge action films, particularly comic book based ones, and I think that pretty much the thing that differentiates a good one from a not so good one is how good the villain is, like how much of a match they are for the good guys. Because like in Daredevil, for example, I think the weakest thing about it was the villain, but I think that they kind of knew that because they said at the beginning we have a British bad guy, and it was almost like it was playing on the fact that you get these run of the mill villains who are just like that.
And that's where Split really flipped it on its head, because it's basically an origin story for a villain that you don't know is a villain in the superhero movie yet. Yeah. And you introduce the villain with an origin story. That's never happened, which I think was really smart of.
And I think that is what makes good villains now, is people are trying to think outside the box. I personally think that it's ever since The Dark Knight I think The Dark Knight stepped up what a villain is, and then so many other films have tried to match it. I thought that in what was that Bond film, Skyfall? In Skyfall, they tried to make the villain a bit like what the Joker was in Batman. And I think that like with Iron Man 3, they tried to think outside the box with the villain, and for some people they loved it, and some people like myself really didn't like it.
No, because it wasn't.
Because it wasn't the Mandarin.
He was a big guy.
It was just like a big middle finger to all of the people who read the comics.
And then they just did a one-shot extra for the Blu-ray saying, "Oh no, it's not really the real Mandarin is still out there." Yeah. Even though we're not going to do anything else further with that because it wouldn't make sense for people who only see the movies, and of course you've got to keep those separate. Yeah. Because it's like nothing that happens in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. really affects the movies at all. Yeah. So like shared universe, well, no, only the movies affect what happens in the TV series and things, and like if it was a proper shared universe, stuff that happens there would bleed into the movies. Yeah, of course. Then they think about the problem of, but some people only see the movies, so you can't start doing that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
it's a difficult one they've got there.
But most people who watch the TV show have probably seen the movies as well.
Yeah, that's true.
Likelihood, so they went that way with it. Speaking of which, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. is really good at the moment. If you're not watching that.
Yeah, I still haven't got onto that yet.
They've in the latest series they've done something really smart where they've, rather than doing a story arc, because it's still like 24 episodes, it's like the traditional cable network run of 24 episodes, 24 episodes for a season, which then you get these filler episodes, which they did for 3 seasons as well. But in the 4th season, I think they've kind of come up with a really good solution. They've basically done 3 story arcs that are very distinctive. I think Netflix started doing that really with their stuff. They kind of did 2 over like their 13 episode runs with the Marvel stuff.
Yeah, definitely series 2 of Daredevil. Yeah, they had,
but not Iron Fist, because they just did one that was dragged out for far too long.
I still haven't watched all of it. I'm kind of building up to.
Iron Fist needs to move a bit quicker. Didn't really go anywhere until right at the end.
And I think, Luke Cage as well. I think that needs to kind of decide what the point of it is, like what Luke Cage's point is. Yeah. Because all of it seemed like a great big nihilism when I was watching that series, where it was so self-contained, everything that was happening, that outside of the situation that was going on with them, there's no reason for anyone to really care about what's happening.
Yeah, and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. have done really well. Like, there's 3 distinct storylines. They did Ghost Rider.
Oh, nice.
So they had Ghost Rider for the first bit of the season.
And was he actually done well this time?
Yeah, he was done really well. They moved the time slot from a bit of an earlier one, so it was a bit more on the prime time, so they couldn't do gory stuff. Right. For the previous seasons, and then this one they've moved it to a later slot, and so they kind of go a bit bloody, and it's like, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. has gone dark.
That's good though. If you're gonna have a character like
they put Ghost Rider in there. I think they had to move the slot. Yeah. And then they've done the LMDs as well.
Oh yeah.
So they've done that, and so they did LMDs, and then they did something where they go into a simulation world as well. Nice. So where basically it was like allowed them shots to do, well, what if this happened in the story instead of that? Yeah. So they kind of did alternative timeline, and they ended off getting out of that situation. So yeah,
that does sound. I need to watch that. Agent, what was her name?
Agent Carter.
Carter, yeah, I need to see that as well.
It was alright. Wasn't anything special, I thought.
Yeah.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. was worse than Agent Carter, I thought, at first. And then they've really ramped it up. Like, I like series where, even if you know it starts off a bit slow, but someone's told you it gets better, stick with it, it gets really good. Yeah. Because, Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. originally started off being a bit too tied into the movies. And so they kept on waiting for big events in the movies to happen to really move forward their storyline. So, like, in the first season, they kind of did it. It was literally until, like, the last few episodes when it was revealed that Hydra was in all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Winter Soldier. They had to wait until that moment to really speed their story forward.
Yeah, of course.
It was like right towards the end of the season. It was a bit like, oh, so this is why I've just been dawdling about not doing much for the whole season because you're waiting for that event to happen.
It must have been quite challenging for them to figure all that out, how to time that right.
Yeah. So obviously that would be a big thing for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. for that to happen. So they're kind of waiting for it.
Have you been watching Better Call Saul?
Yeah.
Because I only watched the first couple of episodes of it, and then I've missed the next few.
This season?
Of this season, yeah. I before the season started, I heard lots of things about how they're going to go more Breaking Bad. It's going to be more dark.
It's Better Call Saul is different.
It is a different.
It's a different pace to because Breaking Bad was so. Every episode there was something tense was happening in most of them, apart from the fly episode.
Although I still love that episode.
It's brilliant. It's a fantastic episode, but
from
what I was saying, like it's tense. Like there's tense moments because like it's all kind of tension between the family and things the whole time. Like will he get found out and stuff? And but Better Call Saul is. I don't know. It's a bit strange. It's always difficult doing a series where you know where the characters end up already.
Yeah.
Where you kind of know you need to hit these points, and you know that somewhere along the line.
And I like the idea, the fact that they've got Hector in it, and you know what ends up happening. Although that's what's quite smart about it, is that you don't know exactly how he ended up like he was,
stuff like that,
and what the full extent of the background is between him and Gus.
Yeah, and how Mike got to where he was as well.
Because he was originally the daughter and the granddaughter. Yeah,
because. One thing I always point out is that in Breaking Bad, you never see the daughter.
Yeah, the daughter-in-law she would be.
Yeah, daughter-in-law.
Yeah, you only ever see the
granddaughter, and it just makes me go, "Oh, that's always a possibility that something could happen."
I definitely need to catch up on that though, because I could see that.
I don't know. It started introducing more characters from Breaking Bad. They're kind of going, this is where they came from, this is where this one comes from.
Yeah.
Like, they've done that quite a lot this season, for sure. Like, quite a lot of familiar faces have popped up.
Yeah, that's good, yeah.
And even, the big guy, I keep forgetting this character's name.
Oh, the fat guy?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But the problem is that he's lost loads of weight since doing Breaking Bad.
Oh. Well, good on him, man.
Apparently when they saw him, they were like, oh, I think you've lost too much weight.
I used to think this. You know how long Lost went on for? From 2004 through 7 seasons.
Yeah.
And Hurley had to stay looking like that throughout that whole time. And I reckon that must have been challenging, considering that they were on a fucking
desert island.
Yeah, desert island. He must have been sweating balls all the time.
They kept on finding stocks of food.
He did say, I remember at one point, that he had gone down a couple of belt sizes, because I suppose when you're that big it doesn't show so much at first when you lose, but
no, in Better Call Saul he looks really different. You still tell it's him, but it's just a bit like you've lost a lot of weight. But then I think they're kind of playing it in that like, oh look, he was thin here. Saul made him get fat by getting involved in that.
They could have. I
know his face looks really different as well. Yeah, I know with enough makeup and things you can.
Faces to face.
It's just like for continuity's sake, you would want him to stay the same, but you can't ask someone to stay morbidly obese just for a role. It's a bit like, I've always found it funny. You know, like when you get a character in something. One of the main ones that I always remember was in the IT Crowd. There was this one episode where there was this woman from one of the higher up floors who she'd left something or in their office or something, and he was hoping it was going to be this attractive woman, and it turned out to be this fucking fat heifer with hair on her face, and she was barely human. And it was that actress who played Heather in EastEnders later on. But when they're doing the casting for that, what do they advertise out? We want someone fat and ugly and hideous to come in and be laughed at for being fat and hideous. And then an actress goes, yeah, that sounds like the right role for me. I always wonder how they cast those kind of roles. I suppose if you're an actor, you have to be a realist about, like if you're a little person like Warwick Davis, you got to be realistic. Any role that you ever take on is going to have to be connected to the fact that you're that you're a little person.
Jonah Hill. Have you seen Jonah Hill lately?
Oh, he goes from fat to quite fat to thin.
You wouldn't even recognise him.
Yeah.
He's lost that amount of weight.
Yeah.
But he had to put it all back on for War Dogs.
Yeah.
He was massive.
Yeah, he
War
got
Dogs.
that was the biggest I've seen him. I think
And
in War
now
Dogs.
he's so thin.
He must have a good personal trainer.
Yeah.
Well, those Hollywood actors all do, don't
That's
they?
completely different. You would walk past him in the street.
Yeah.
And another one who
Even Chris Pratt as well. Like he was pretty big in.
Yeah, he was chubby, and then since he got thinner,
look at Ethan Sulphy as well. When you see it before My Name Is Earl, he was in the Butterfly Effect.
Yes.
He was huge.
Yeah, he was.
And also American History X? He was one of the skinheads, the big fucking skinheads.
Yeah.
And now, because of his cycling, he's lost so much weight. It's unbelievable.
Well, and there's the little boy from The Sixth Sense, and he's had a film just come out on Netflix, isn't he? I think it's called Sex Ed, where he's meant to be a teacher teaching sex education, but he's a virgin.
He's a virgin.
And he's a bit on the chubby side of life now.
I've seen
He's always struggled a bit with that.
Yeah.
Since.
Bring Back My Name Is Earl.
It's not going to happen.
I don't know why
It's
they
not gonna
cancelled
happen.
that. That was fucking brilliant.
I don't know, maybe Netflix.
It was fucking brilliant.
Netflix has been bringing back loads
They
of
could have
stuff.
gone anywhere with that. It was fucking brilliant.
If Netflix can bring back Full House, which is a pile of bloody shit.
Name is fucking hilarious. Did you ever watch it? My Name Is Earl.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it.
Did you watch it, Ali?
Yeah, I love the My Name as well. It's
Oh God,
fantastic.
I used to fucking cry every week.
It's
It was
well fun. It's
fucking
brilliant. Yeah.
Brilliant. Oh my God, why they took that away? Why they cancelled that? Fucking beyond me. There are things that happen in life where you just think, what now? What? That's the best thing that you've had for years, and you've cancelled it.
Firefly.
Yeah, Firefly.
14 episodes, and then they.
And then they did the film, and Serenity it was called, wasn't it? And then that was it. Yeah.
Well, that's because the whole run of that, Fox pretty much aired it to fail, because they aired the episodes out of order.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
And then they did the final episode before the end of whatever they were showing, and it's just a bit like, of course they're like, oh, people don't get this, because you're airing the episodes out of order. People don't know what. I think they didn't even air the premiere on the premiere date. They aired the second episode, so they went second. But it's a bit like, what are you doing? Because I think they thought that there was more action in the second episode, which I think was the train heist one. So the executives in the almighty intelligence went, oh yeah, let's not do the episode that introduces the characters and then they're suddenly on board. Let's say the second episode where suddenly River's on the ship and things, and then the second episode that we air is the premiere when they get on the ship.
That is nonsense.
My Name Is Earl. I don't know if you saw it, where they went back to camp where they thought they burnt the barn down.
Oh, I haven't watched it in so
and
long.
He's walking along, Randy, you know he's got a phobia of birds.
Yes.
He's got an ice cream, I think it's an ice cream. And he's walking along and he sees a chicken walking towards him. And there's a fence and he steps over the fence like that. And he goes, see if you can get me now, you stupid bird. And when he turns, there's an ostrich.
Oh, God.
Oh, God. And it just lays on the floor. He goes,
oh, yeah.
Punch it in the face, I'll call the police. Punch it in the face, I'll play dead. He's going,
I do remember.
God. Oh,
I would be scared of a fucking ostrich.
I was in bits.
I don't know, the show like that I'm watching at the moment is still Always Sunny in Philly. That show is bloody brilliant. Danny DeVito's fantastic. All the guys in that one.
I'm watching Counting Cars. Well, you're not counting cars, obviously. Where people bring in their old cars and he does them all up and suits them up, puts new engines in. And
Always Sunny, man. They're still doing it so well for 12 seasons.
Yeah, it's been
12
cool
seasons they've
time,
done it, and it's still. There's some episodes where you're just like, that was bloody brilliant. I think the most recent one was they did where they all go to the water park, and just the way they do it is hilarious. Like all the staff at the water park just don't give a crap. Like the two of the characters go on a slide that's supposed to be for kids, and they're like, "Oh, look at the sign," and they're like, "Oh, fuck off, you loser," and he goes, I don't give a crap, and kind of lets them go down it. They get stuck. Then they just, and like they're stuck for like the whole day pretty much in this one water slide, and the guy just keeps on letting kids go down, and they keep on getting built up behind them, and he's just like not caring. It's like next, not actually checking what's going on.
Danny DeVito annoyed a few British people recently, didn't he?
Args got involved with saying Corbyn's all right.
But the stupid thing about that though was that, like, I saw that when he put that tweet out saying that's the guy, go on Britain, vote for him, and then the next day the Sun and all the other right-wing newspapers said that Danny DeVito got slammed for getting involved in UK politics. But if you look at the tweet, there's like 90% of people going yeah, and then there's just the odd person here and there who's saying, "Oh, stay out of it, you."
That's
sounds like me. No, it's not with me. What the fuck are you getting involved with?
Yeah. Right, most people have made up their minds about what they're going to do already. So I'm not getting involved in mentioning what I'm doing or what other people are doing, because I think most people are convinced about what they're going to do.
Yeah.
I think enough's been happening in the media for you to see what you want to do.
And I don't care.
Yeah.
The media's coverage of everything is just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I've seen a media presentation of anything that didn't seem to be biased in one way or the other.
Yeah.
That's the one thing that I definitely don't disagree with Donald Trump about is that the media are a bunch of scumbags. Yeah, but really, just if you do hear anything in the media, don't take it at face value. If you care about it, then then do your research. Don't just take things at face value that are being told to you. Especially like with the whole thing of fake news nowadays on Facebook, social media. Yeah,
just stuff gets spread, and
I saw that on Al Jazeera today after the terrorist attack in Manchester yesterday. There was a picture going around social media of a little boy with glasses on saying, "Have you seen this boy?" And Al Jazeera exposed that this boy had nothing to do with that terrorist attack. So someone started posting it around on social media. Like, it's like people who just want to go viral in various different ways.
The internet, just ignore most of stuff that's just from which doesn't state its sources.
Yeah.
Anything that doesn't state where it's getting its sources from, and go, this is where the figures are coming from. Even then, you have to look into the figures and see how they're calculating those figures.
Yeah.
Like the whole unemployment rate and whatever.
Yeah.
The figures are so bloated on that it's lower. It's ridiculous, because it's when they say, "Oh, it's the lowest it's been in 42 years." Right, but the way you calculate that has changed over the years as well. So it's not the same thing.
Yeah. So that's the thing. Like, we don't want to weigh in too much on what we think politically, but in terms of the coverage that you see of all of the politics at the moment, you've got to really look at your sources before you. Yeah.
If you want to say that you're informed.
Yeah.
And even then, I'd probably say I'm still the least informed, because in some areas I'd probably still say don't listen to what I have to say about it either.
Yeah.
Make your own decision.
Yeah, totally. Yeah.
But don't take anything at face value, I'd just probably say.
Yeah, especially not things that you see on social media. And another thing about that terrorist attack thing was there was a picture of Ariana Grande which was going around, which was this blurry image. Then they were saying this was taken immediately after that terrorist attack. But it wasn't. It was from a couple of years ago. It was a backstage shot from a film that she was doing.
People seem to believe anything that's put in front of them straight away.
Yeah.
When, I mean, you can just go examples of quotes that get spread around. And then when you look into it, that guy never actually said that. You put his face on it and then put the quote.
Yeah.
And people believe that he said it. It's a bit like...
Yeah. You see that? I've seen that before on social media where there's been something like that. And then later on, the person who that picture is of has seen this post and said, that's me. And they're saying that I'm a scientist, and I said this. I'm not a scientist.
Yeah.
I don't know anything about what this stuff is.
The amount of stock photos that get into those things as well, and they're like, oh, that was just a stock picture.
Yeah. It's a fucking joke. And,
yeah, it is absolutely ridiculous. But I'm trying to stay out of it as much as possible, because
in terms of putting out a public message, like, I know what I'm going to do.
Yeah, I know.
Everyone else do what you're going to do, but just don't be under-informed about things.
Yeah, I'd probably say that.
Well, when you're not voting, I'll probably be on the golf course.
Yeah, well, that's your choice as well.
Yes. Or playing with my little doggy.
Have you been playing any good games at all?
Yeah.
You've been playing more games than probably watching movies, I think.
Yeah, when I had my own little spell of being ill, I just decided to... On the first day that I sat there, and then I saw that the release of this new game, Outlast 2, came. And so I started playing that, and then I went on a little surge of playing horror games, and I played Resident Evil 7, which was awesome.
There are some good horror games at the moment.
Yeah, there are some good ones around.
Yeah.
But Outlast 2, and this thing, I played all through Outlast 2, and I thought, I'm going to play Outlast 1 again on the hardest difficulty, so I did that. And I played Resident Evil 7, and I also played all the way through Alien Isolation.
Oh, I love Alien Isolation.
And yeah, I was just going through them. They were, but definitely Outlast 2 is good. It's got some problems, but in terms of the horror and the relentless horror of it, like you can't rest at all in that game. It's just fucking relentless. But and it has this great mechanic, which anyone who's played the first Outlast will know, that you don't have any way of fighting. You never fight. You don't have guns. You don't have any kind of weapons. But you have a camera, and you can film things happen, and you can use the night vision mode on the camera to be able to see in the dark.
Rather than the flashlight, like most other games.
Yeah, there's no flashlight, and that's it. And in this one, they added in. You have this microphone so that you can have this ultra sensitive microphone. You can hear what's going on the other side of a wall. But it is just fucking balls to the wall, relentless. You're being chased constantly. It's dark. You're having to conserve your batteries.
The camera also kind of focus in your field of view as well when you use it.
When you use it, it does limit your field of view, definitely. Yeah. It's first-person game, and you can zoom in as well, which you do need to do sometimes. Yeah. And the whole idea of Outlast 2, I won't do any spoilers, but the basics of it is that you're a reporter, and you and your wife work together. You're a camera guy, and she's a journalist, and you're investigating this case where a pregnant woman was found wandering the streets, and she died of exposure or something. And so you go to investigate the jungles or the forest where she seemed to have come from. And then you end up crash landing there, and in this mysterious town there, you're surrounded by two groups of fundamentalist religious people. There's the Christians who believe that your wife is going to give birth to the Antichrist, and they want to kill her and stop that from happening. And they've been killing all of the children, all of their own children, because it's just some fucked up cult where their prophet is this guy who has been impregnating all the women, and then when the children were born, then he would impregnate those girls as well. But now he believed that the Antichrist is coming, so he is having everyone kill all of the children. So you go there in the midst of all this, and they start believing that your wife is going to give birth to the Antichrist. And meanwhile, they have this enemy faction that are the opposite. They are the Satanists, and they want the Antichrist to be born. So they are trying to protect your wife and wait until... And then you're basically trying to find your wife, get her out of there and escape from this place. But it's like you have just been dropped into hell. Yeah. It is the most horrible place you can imagine. Dead bodies everywhere. Everyone's trying to kill everybody. They're all praying all the time. And all the time you don't know if what they think is happening. Yeah. Or if they're all just fucking crazy. And yeah, it's really, really worth playing if you like horror games.
Yeah, I need to play both of them, I think.
Yeah, the first one is scarier, I think. It's got some better one-off scares that really get you, but it's just, you can see it didn't have such a big budget. Like the look of the new one is
I don't like jump scares.
No.
The fear.
Yeah, so Outlast 2 is something I recommend, and Alien Isolation, if you haven't played it, that's just...
See, because that one mostly isn't jump scares. It's
just tension,
the alien's there, you're just a bit like, don't see me.
I will say, and this is probably true of all horror games, unless they keep on doing different things, then after a while, you don't feel afraid anymore. Like,
oh yeah, because you work out the patterns. I worked out the pattern on some of the rooms in Alien. I was like, right, if I run here, then suddenly goes over there, so I just need to get the timing of when I see him there to then run all the way over there, and then I can get through it.
And you also learn that the alien doesn't see you very easily. Like I remember at one point there was a briefcase on the floor that was on its edge, and it was sitting up, and I just crouched next to that. And as the alien walked past me, I walked around to the other side of the case, and it didn't see me.
It's like if the second test in Prey actually worked.
Yeah.
By sitting behind the chair. Clearly behind that chair. I mean.
So yeah, I played Prey from start to finish.
I
and
haven't completed it. So
I won't spoil anything at all, obviously, but I just will say that a lot of people were saying that Prey is a horror game, but it's not a horror game.
No, it's not.
Not at all. It's.
I still like the concept of the mimics.
Yeah.
Just like there, anything you just be like, oh yeah, I saw.
Yeah, it's like, there's two of the same thing there, but which one is the mimic?
Yeah. Or if you see it bounce slightly, you'll be like, I saw that.
Yeah.
I saw that.
Later on, you get like a thing on that you can look through it, and if you put the right attachment on it, you can see.
Oh,
mimics.
that kind of takes it. No, they shouldn't have done
well,
that.
but that's so far, so much further along that you were already used to the mimics, and you've met all the other creatures by that point, and so the mimics are not such a big deal.
I don't know. I still think they shouldn't get rid of the fact of them hiding something.
Well, you don't necessarily, like, you have a limited number of attachments you can put on these goggles, and that is just one of them. But if you want to have other things on, then you can't have that on at the same time.
Okay.
And like, have you done any of the zero gravity bits on it yet? Yeah, because you go flying around in zero. It reminded me a lot of Dead Space 3. In the third Dead Space,
I don't think I played through the third Dead Space.
Well, in that one, it was weird because in that one,
like
Isaac actually starts talking. In the first two, he doesn't say a word.
Yeah.
And then in the third one, he talks all the time. You can't get him to shut up. But he in his suit, he does have the little thrusters so you can fly around.
It takes away from the tension of Dead Space. Dead Space was very much about the noises in where you were.
Yeah.
Like, stuff would just make a noise. You'd be like, shut the fuck up
Yeah.
with that crap.
like those guys with the, they have that big bulbous yellow thing on them that explodes, and when they come down, you hear this sound,
like,
and there's one around.
Shit,
Where is it? Because if they get too close to you, then you can't kill them because they'll just blow up and kill you. Yeah, Dead Space 1 and 2 were amazing. Dead Space 3, you can see, has got the biggest budget of the whole lot, and it looks the best, but it doesn't have... It takes away from the elements that made the first two so great.
Yeah, I do like horror games.
Yeah, I think horror games...
Although I'm a bit annoyed with Resident Evil 7 that they made the PlayStation VR, the only VR,
yeah.
And they made it exclusive for a year, essentially. It's a bit like... But this is a new format that you're trying to make the VR people, and you restrict it to one format.
Sony must have paid big money for that. Yeah,
I think they said because Resident Evil wasn't doing great from 6, even from 5, they were 5 did okay. Yeah, but I think with the production of 6, and that didn't do too well with the fans. They were struggling a bit, and they weren't even sure if they were going to do a 7. And I think Sony put loads of money into it. And then they went, okay, we'll do a 7.
That Resident Evil 7 was fucking scary at times. Like when you don't know what the hell's going on at first, then it like Jesus, when your girlfriend comes out and she attacks you and she's trying to stab you and it's so gruesome and you're like, blocking it with your hands. Get away from me, you crazy bitch. Yeah, and then she gets the chainsaw, comes through the roof. I was just like, fucking hell, what is going on?
And chops your hand off. You're like, that's my hand.
Yeah. I've got to go through the whole game without a hand. And then they had the magic juice that, like, because I don't know if you got it. You know when the next scene after that, where you're at the dinner table with the family. And then they all go off, and then the dad comes back, and you have to try and get away from him. You have to find a way out. There's one particular scripted event that doesn't necessarily happen unless you happen to get caught by him in one room, where he cuts off your foot.
I haven't got that.
Yeah, if you in the room where that trapdoor is that you escape through once you've got the key. Yeah. If he catches you in that room before you, it's like when he smashes through the wall. He doesn't always smash through the wall, but if you happen to be passing outside while he's in that room, then he breaks the wall down. And he on this one, he cuts your foot off, and then you have to crawl over.
Oh, no, I did get that.
And he puts down the magic juice for you. He says, just put that... And it's weird. You put your foot there and you pour this juice on.
Yeah, no, I did get that once.
Yeah, you did, that's the thing.
So I didn't have the key and I was in that room and going, what the hell do I do? I was like, you're there and I'm stuck in this room. Brilliant.
Yeah, because if he hasn't made the hole in the wall, then you get trapped in that room. But yeah, I really loved that game, and I loved... I suspected right from the beginning that old lady was the bad guy.
Yeah.
Because no one was talking to her.
No, she just appeared.
Yeah, she keeps appearing everywhere, and she just seemed the thing that didn't fit with everything else that was there.
And because I definitely got caught in that room and had the footage up because I actually had the wall breakthrough first because I was just panicking because I hadn't quite worked out how to play the game yet and how it plays.
It really does just throw you in the deep end with that, doesn't it?
So I was just like running around and him coming in and I was like, and then I went, aha, I've made a hole, I can just run around and you never get me. So
that's what you end up doing. And
then my second attempt, I got trapped in the room because I still hadn't found the key yet because that's why I was just running around in circles the first time because I still hadn't got the key and I was just going, what do I do? Oh, I'll just go around here. And then he got me because And then the second time he tracked me because I went, it must be in this room somewhere. And then he found me before he broke down the wall.
That's what I found with that game. If you play it through more than once, you find that things go differently. Like for example, the bit where you fight with him in the garage. If you play through it one way, the way you're fighting him, he ends up getting in the car and driving around trying to...
Yeah, I saw that on Let's Plays. I went,
you can get in the car.
I liked watching Let's Plays because I'd already played that bit.
Yeah.
I watched Let's Play and then that happened. I went, you can do that? That can happen?
Yeah. Yeah, because I was playing it through on the hardest difficulty the second time round, playing on New Game Plus, so I still had my weapons in there. And I ended up getting in the car. I was like, okay.
Yeah, I got in the car the first time.
Oh,
and then I saw Let's Play where he got in the car. He gets in if you can.
It's cool. I love that as well because you're just like, what is happening when
you panic
when he comes
it
up
makes you panic,
and then he puts the gun in his mouth and he's like, you're gonna see something great now, son, and he shoots himself in the head and you're like, what's he doing?
When you have no idea what the rules of this Resident Evil are and what's going on.
Exactly, yeah.
You're just like, what the hell is happening?
And then you go from that horror where it's really sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre slasher horror with your girlfriend and with him, and then you have the fucking gross out horror with the wife who turns into that weird insect thing.
Yeah.
And then you have the spooky horror with the little girl when you go up into that attic and you see all of the toys and everything. It just played all of them so well. Even at the beginning when you first get into the house and you watch that videotape of those 3 people who came there before and you see them go down and then the guy's standing in the corner like something out of the Blair Witch Project.
Yeah, there's lots of homages.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
To other horrors.
Best horror game I've played in a long time.
Yeah, I think it's a really good game.
Yeah.
I haven't played any of the DLC yet.
No, I've watched
some and they look quite... Like, they seem unique in themselves as well. Like, it's a totally different play on those ones. Like, the one where you're in the bed and you've got locked up.
Yeah.
And you have to put stuff, and then you have to make sure you put it all back where it is so that she doesn't notice.
Yeah.
And get back
it's class. It's class. And then, of course, it has the whole scene where you go to the son's part of it, and it's like Saw, where you have to play the games and you have to find your way out of the room and that. It's really and then
I think quite a lot of games now are working out that they need to change it up quite regularly.
Yeah. In except for Call of Duty, I think Call of Duty are just like, yep.
I think they've just got their audience and it's so big that they could just get away with that now.
Yeah. I mean, the last one got absolutely slated, but it doesn't matter. It's going to be just as successful in terms of sales, and the next one's not going to suffer.
Doing World War II, aren't they? No.
Yeah, going back to their roots a little bit.
Only because Battlefield did, and that did so well. You say that, but actually they were developing that game way before Battlefield came out, so you can't say that, can you?
Gosh. Call of Duty and FIFA, those are the ones, like, you don't expect anything different from one game to the next. It's just the same thing, but they are so formulaic, and that's what the people...
They've just announced that Red Dead Redemption 2's delayed until next year.
Well, I'd never expected it to come out this year, to be honest.
Lots of people seem to kind of put Rockstar in such high regard. And every time their game comes out, they go, oh yeah, they'll hit that deadline because they're so good. And I go, hang on a second, I'm pretty sure every game since San Andreas, they've delayed it when they've done their first initial announcement. Because San Andreas was like the first one where they didn't hit their deadline and they delayed it for a while because it was so big at the time.
Yeah.
And I remember... the Grand Theft Auto 4 was supposed to come out the September before that one, and it ended up coming out the May of 2008.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
And then, same with GTA 5, that got delayed for a few months.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bit like they never hit their first deadline that they announce.
Yeah.
But every time I see like all the news channels and gaming news channels, and they go, oh, it's a big surprise. I'm a bit like, is it?
Yeah.
Is this really a surprise? Do you not look at the previous records of their games? And
the thing about Rockstar is that their games are so high quality.
oh yeah, people are fine with the I'm fine with it being delayed because I know that they'll put the effort into their.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they're not ready, they're not ready. I think Take-Two. I think Rockstar, the only ones where they could go to their publisher and go, sorry, it's not working. We're not hitting our deadlines. We need another, and they'll go, okay.
Yeah.
They won't argue anything with them. They'll just go, okay, you can delay it by this much, and they'll go, good. Rather than with other companies, it's just a bit like.
Well, like with Mass Effect Andromeda coming out when it did, and the problems that had.
I just wasn't ready, that game.
Or No Man's Sky.
Yep.
Coming out, way too early.
Well, that was an indie developer. I kind of get it with that because that was an indie developer, and they had to get it out because otherwise there'd be a point where you're not where your company's going to go under because you've not. Release the product.
They just asked fans to keep faith with them and wait because they're going to add the things that.
The problem with that is that there was a game that was doing it better that came out a year before that game came out, and that was Elite Dangerous.
Oh yeah.
That was pretty much doing what No Man's Sky was doing, but was doing it better, more detail, and was just fantastic. And
Subnautica is supposed to come out this month, isn't it? Finally. I don't know if you've seen the people doing Let's Plays of it in its beta stage and all of the early... Subnautica is a game that's been in early access for ages. But it's like a survival type game where you're on a planet that seems to be mostly water and you are underwater all the time. You have to build a little habitat to live in and you have to explore what happened on this planet. But it's finally set to come out. But I know like Markiplier on YouTube, he's been doing a Let's Play of it and he's in episode 60 something now. And Jacksepticeye is in episode 40 something of it. It'll be interesting because in the last episode I watched of Jacksepticeye, he went in because they added in a new update and he went in to see the last part of the game that you weren't supposed to get to yet, and some of the textures hadn't been put in yet or anything, but it does look interesting.
It's a bit like Star Citizen. When's that going to come out?
Yeah.
Biggest crowd-funded anything ever.
Yeah.
Like that was like the biggest Kickstarter, and it still holds the record for the most crowd-funded project. Highest amount put into it by public funding.
I suppose they must have had a lot of extra milestones added where they
still get loads of money from it as well. You can still donate to it.
I suppose
except they just got off of Kickstarter now and they just have their own donation thing now because it's so big. But that's crazy. Talking about Markiplier and Jacksepticeye and Let's Players like that. Have you seen that PewDiePie's gone back to doing Let's Plays now?
Yeah.
Because he stopped for a while and now he seems to have started it back up.
I keep seeing videos from various YouTubers at the moment which are talking about some kind of conspiracy in YouTube against people like PewDiePie.
It's just about the adpocalypse.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Essentially where... That's just because of all that stuff that got blown up from the general media about videos being put on like terrorism, supporting videos, which I totally agree.
Yeah.
That needs to be tightened up and things, but if it hurts the creators too much where they can't get a leg up, because essentially YouTube was the place to go if you want to start getting into that stuff, and now it's not working now. Because Patreon, so many YouTubers are doing Patreons and things, but that's business models. You can't put all your eggs in one basket.
Yeah.
Because if it goes wrong, then your business is if you have that as you're holding up your business, if that goes wrong and then your business go under.
Yeah, you need to have some kind of protection.
Always diversify, like Patreon. Put your stuff on multiple different streaming sites, video sites and things.
Yeah.
And have your own website that hosts your videos as well. Because if that goes under and you've put a good sponsor support on your own website, if it goes the wrong way on YouTube, you still get a stable one on your one.
It is quite interesting, though, as you say, about PewDiePie going back to doing Let's Plays, because obviously that's his roots. He went from doing doing those sort of let's plays of well-known games to mostly doing indie games to then sort of just he was almost kind of jumping around in the viral marketplace just sort because he's like the king of YouTube, or he was the king of YouTube
Actually,
at the time.
Just to clarify, he's always done an odd let's play here and now still, but he seems to have ramped it back up again now.
Yeah, he did a full beginning to end let's play of Outlast 2 when it came out. And when that game that was the spiritual successor to the what's it called, the one with the Titan things, the massive that classic
Attack on Titan,
not Attack on Titan, no, the one that everybody loves, and there was that really famous Game Grumps bit where they were killing one of they're not called Titans, they're called something
Shadow
else.
of the Colossus. No.
Colossus, yeah, Shadow of the Colossus. There was that game that came out a year or so ago.
The Last Guardian.
That's right, yeah. So I don't know my PlayStation stuff very well, but yeah, when that came out, he did a full let's play of that as well, and so and I think he did that other one, that RPG Dark Souls 3. He went through.
Oh, Dark Souls 3, yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, I do think
he
spent a lot of time just playing those challenges. Don't try not to laugh challenges. Try not to cringe.
Yeah, he did a long time with that.
Yeah, and he was just kind of surfing around on viral stuff and kind of taking the piss out of it all a little bit. But then that really backfired on him in a big way when he did that Fiverr episode on, and yeah, he does seem to have just gone back to what his roots are now.
He put death to all Jews on that bit of paper.
I remember when I watched that video, and I thought, like, before any of the stuff came up about it, I thought, why have you posted that? Like, because he should have sort of.
If you actually look at the video, you know that he knows that is bad and that they did it. But then he posted it up. Yeah, even though he knows that he doesn't support it. It was a big gamble. It was a big gamble. He clearly doesn't support it. He said it because he thought there's no way they'll do this, and then they did. And then he was like, "Oh my god!" So people will literally do anything for a $5. But he must really regret posting that now, or maybe not. Maybe he doesn't. I don't know. I think he's still done all right.
Yeah, he's still doing all right. I think. You see that Jacksepticeye, I think, has moved to Brighton now. I think he's living.
Is that where all the UK
that's
Let's
where
Plays are going to go to?
Yeah, everyone just go to, because he's got a YouTuber girlfriend, doesn't he? She's called Wee Shoe or something like that.
Oh yeah.
And they've moved in together there, and then obviously PewDiePie lives there, and Marcia is also another big YouTuber who's been. She started before PewDiePie, didn't she?
I was there yesterday with my little dog.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got burnt rotten. It was fucking beautiful.
Maybe you saw one of them down there. Did you see a guy with green hair?
I might have. I saw quite a few people with coloured hair.
Maybe.
There was a guy, I swear, had green hair with a woman that had this beautiful yellow hair, like an ambery yellow hair. It was beautiful.
It could have been them. I think Wee Shoes.
Sorry.
I think she might have. I don't know.
I don't know. It's Brighton.
Yeah, there's all sorts of people
down there.
You know me and Brighton. I fucking love it.
Yeah. I'll tell you a film that I saw recently that I was quite surprised about how much I enjoyed it, because I'm a massive fan of shark-based horror movies ever since Jaws, even though 99% of them are terrible.
Yep.
But and the only one that is usually the exception is Jaws 1, and that's it. The first Jaws film was good.
The most recent one I've watched was Sharknado, just because I heard how terrible the
Well, yeah, there's been 2 sequels to Sharknado as well. But I watched this film called 47 Meters Down, or I think the other name for it is The Deep or something like that. But it's got Mandy Moore in it, who used to be a little teen Britney Spears type pop star. But she and her sister are in Mexico, and they decide to go on a cage dive to see the great white sharks. But the people who take them for the cage dive, their whole equipment is really rinky-dink, rusty crap. And when they get into the cage, it's all going well and stuff, and they've got all the chum in the water, and there's a few great white sharks there. But then the equipment breaks, and they end up sinking down to the bottom of the sea, and they've got about an hour's worth of oxygen, and they're trying to figure out how they're 47 meters down, so they can't just swim straight up because they'll get the bends.
Pretty sure, yeah. Wouldn't the pressure fuck you up at that
depth
anyway?
Divers have gone down. If you were inexperienced at that depth, it would
surely
mess with
aren't
you.
they?
Well, one of them is, and one of them is an experienced scuba diver in it. But
still scuba diving. That's not free diving.
No, well they've got they have got obviously their scuba
picking holes
gear
in this,
on.
haven't you seen it? Sure,
but the actual film itself, it has the great white sharks in it as part of the terror that's going on, but it's also how dark it is down there and how they're out of range for radio contact with the ship, and the fact that their air is running out. The only problem with the film for me was the ending was a bit of a cop out, but yeah, in terms of shark-based horror movies, when you've endured Jaws, every other Jaws film, and Sharknado, and you've endured Deep Blue Sea, and
have you seen The Shallows?
Yeah, that was why I watched this, because I watched The Shallows and I thought, that was alright.
Yeah, it was alright.
Yeah, Shallows was okay.
Yeah.
And there was an Australian film. I can't quite remember what it was called now, but it was where these people go out on a yacht, and then there's a storm and their yacht capsizes and they're stuck out in the middle of the ocean. And one of them stays on the yacht because he knows that there's sharks in the water, but the other 4 people decide they're going to try and swim back to land. And the whole film is basically them swimming and swimming and swimming, but they are being hunted by this great white shark. And they get picked off one by one as they go. And that was a decent film. And it justifies the fact that they go swimming because the current that they're in, it's going to take them further out to sea. And so this one guy who decides to stay, there's no chance of him coming into a shipping area or anything like that. But he's just literally too shit scared to go in the water because he knows that there's great white sharks. Mm. But great white sharks have always been a massive fascination for me. I love them. And they are not, like, if you ever watch YouTube videos of people free diving with them without a cage or anything, they're not just mindless killing machines. They're really not. These people play with them. Mm. I mean, the idea of that is fucking terrifying to me. And when you watch these people doing it, I mean, there's a guy, he's got the GoPro on his head, and this great white shark comes up to the surface of the water with him, and its head comes out of the water with its mouth fully open, and it's just sort of letting him tickle its chin. But it shows it from his GoPro, and you've just got this mouth with these teeth in front of his face. There's no way in hell that I would ever do that, but people do it. And they're trying to disprove the myth that great white sharks are killing machines that will...
They don't hunt people.
No. The only time they've ever bitten people is either when they're doing an exploratory bite.
Yeah.
So because that's how they test things out. Yeah. They come up and they bite it. Either that, or else if they felt threatened, and so they kill. Yeah,
they don't hunt. Well, naturally they don't hunt you people because they're not
abundant
in the ocean.
And also they'll generally find that people are dressed in wetsuits and things. They're not going to eat that shit. They don't. There's also the thing of them mistaking people, like people on a surfboard in particular, thinking that they might be a seal or something.
Yeah, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Talking about sharks just made me think about that footage, I don't know if you've seen it, of that big wow that's got the rope stuck around it, and it's been wrapped around the wow for months, and it's cutting right into its skin and its flipper. And this diver, it comes past this diver, and the diver gets down on its back and cuts the rope.
Oh wow.
And takes the rope off. Ah, that's amazing. I love stuff like that.
I like that. I've seen that with dolphins before, and the dolphin is so grateful to the person for doing it, and that you can see how much happier they are when the thing's gone.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It is. It's beautiful to see the way that the animals will bond with people.
It was us who fucked it up in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Too much plastic in the water. Too much.
Yeah.
Just crap in general.
And you get those whales that beach themselves. Sometimes en masse they do it, and they still don't really know why. Mm. And then if you ever watch Blackfish, about the orcas, that's one of the most disturbing things, really. When it goes into, have either of you seen it?
I haven't seen it, but I've seen the footage of what it kind of focuses on the orca attacking the. Yeah.
Well, the fact that the same orca at different places had attacked people multiple times, but when it goes into just how complex, like psychologically and intellectually, orcas are, and their conclusion in this thing is literally that this particular orca, the reason it kept attacking people, is because it had been driven insane. It had been, by the way it had been kept, like being kept in a pool that was only just big enough for it to fit in. It couldn't move, it couldn't turn around or swim about. Whereas normally this animal would swim 100 miles a day, every day. And so this
and that they're pod based as well. Like,
yeah, and he'd been taken from his mother when he was a calf. And so yeah, this particular, and I know you call them whales, but orcas are actually in the same genus as dolphins. They're not actually whales technically, but it seems like they are potentially the most emotionally complex animals in the world apart from us. And it's a really interesting documentary. I recommend it if you haven't seen it. Blackfish.
I mean, that's one of the, going on to animals in captivity, it's one of the reasons why I support, used to be called WISPA, World Society for Protection of Animals, but now I think it's WAP, and I'm a World Animal Protectorate. And, they go around and get all the bears out of cages, and when you see animals just caged up and just pacing backwards and forwards and just demented,
like those gorillas.
God. And bears just chained up and just sitting there like, I just don't get it. I really don't get it.
And then when they turn on a person, then people say, oh no, this animal's dangerous, we have to kill
Shoot it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, well, yeah. And you see footage, like there was that in London Zoo a couple of months ago now, there was that gorilla that escaped somehow.
Yeah.
And people had said that when they'd seen it earlier in the day, it looked really restless. But I've been to London Zoo, and those gorillas, they do have a bigger enclosure backstage, but during the day, they're just sitting in a room smaller than this. 2 gorillas just sitting in there with people gawping at them all day. It's no fucking wonder they get annoyed, because they're not simple creatures. They are complex intellectually, as everyone knows about gorillas. I mean, there's a gorilla in Australia that they've taught sign language to.
Yeah, there's an orangutan as well.
Yeah, and these are animals that they have learnt what the different signs mean and stuff, but they don't just respond to what you do like a dog does. If you can teach a dog to copy things, or you can teach a parrot to copy what you say, but these gorillas, they can actually have a conversation with it about what it wants to do, or what sort of food it would like to eat, because they've learned and they can do the signs, and they can actually have a conversation with you.
It is stunning. Obviously being a vegan and an animal lover, I kind of like spend a lot of time checking up on animals and stuff. And there's an orangutan that does sign language. It's just stunning. It's amazing. And you just think, well, there's the start of communication.
Yeah.
Who knows what we can do 1,000 years from now. Also, dolphins can communicate.
Yeah.
Quite easily. Quite well as well. I mean, to the point of saying, I want to do this today, and I want to do that today.
Yeah, they say dolphins are the most intelligent animals. It is really interesting. And you see all these things, you can see them a lot on YouTube now, of people who have these really unusual relationships with dangerous animals. Like I've seen a man who lives with a polar bear, and he swims with it, and he takes it into his pool, and he looks after it. And there's a guy, they call him the cat whisperer or something like that, and he can just befriend lions, tigers, leopards.
Yeah, there's a guy. I think he nursed a baby gorilla, and it was with him for quite a while.
Oh, and then
they released it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he went back, and he was just on the boat going down.
Yeah,
the
I've
river.
seen that video.
And it saw
all of a
him.
sudden he comes running out of the forest and remembers it.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
It's amazing. Yeah. When you see that, it like you said before, it's beautiful. It's beautiful to see it. These animals, like, we all form close bonds with our pets, and we know that they're happy to see us, but it's no different no matter what type of animal it is, except maybe like a spider or something. I don't really know about that. I've seen people, because I work in a pet shop, I see people come in who've got pet spiders.
Yeah,
I don't get it.
But I never kill a spider.
No.
You know, I will make sure that it is kind of like shooed out quite nicely.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I never harm anything.
Yeah, it depends what it does, if it starts to noise.
I'm the kind of guy that, I've fucking fished out a wasp that's flown into a water before.
Yeah.
And put it on the side and tried to dry it off, but waited for it to see whether it was okay. And then when it flew off, I was quite happy,
Yeah.
Anything that I can do like that, I will do. And it's not just because I'm a Buddhist or anything like that.
Yeah.
It's because I just don't want that. Even though it could bite me, or sting me, sorry, it could sting me and fucking cause me grief, I still risk it to save that wasp from drowning. And when I see, I mean, this is the thing, I have to drive, you know, for my job, and I do sometimes absolutely hate that I'm part of that whole thing, because when I see roadkill, and people say to me, why do you drive so slowly? I mean, I drive like a granny, right? Sorry grannies, but I do drive like a granny, right? Even on the motorway, I'm in the slow lane, quite happy doing 35. Everybody else can shoot past me at 78, I don't give a fuck, right? People say, why do you drive so slowly? And my answer is because I don't want to kill anything. And I mean, I'm not being funny. If a human walks out in front of me, there's nothing I can do about it. He walks out in front of me, fucking not my problem. But if a fox runs out, or a cat, or a dog, or a hedgehog, or a fucking rabbit, I've been coming through Epsom. I mean, I've been with you. Do you remember when them foxes? There was two, weren't there, in two different roads? Yeah. One come storming out. We had to do an emergency stop, and then we was going down this other road, and there was two little uns chasing each other, mucking up, just playing. They were playing, weren't they? And one of them chased the other one right into the road, and we had to do another emergency stop, didn't we? Yeah. It was fucking. That was like thinking shit. So I went even slower. Called it at 10, like thinking third time unlucky. Do you know what I mean? Because we'd avoided two as it is. But I mean, I've been going through Epsom and seen a cat stop on the side of the road, and I couldn't suss out what he was doing. And then all of a sudden I saw this little field mouse jump onto the road and run across the road, and the cat is stalking the mouse. Worst nature, right? Yeah. But I'm thinking, get the fuck out of the road, you stupid cat. Do you know what I mean? I just don't want to kill anything.
My focus is totally on that mouse.
Yeah, absolutely not taking any notice of the cars whatsoever. But that's the reason why I drive so slowly. I don't want to kill anything. And I'm talking animal, because I don't know if I could cope with that. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? I just fucking the thought of it petrifies me. I mean, I've had a cat run out in front of my car, stop in the middle of the road, turn, and it's scrabbling to try and get a grip. And you can hear its nails going, and at the last minute, it got grip and went back across the road. Yeah. I wouldn't have hit it because I was already stopping at that point, you know. But it was just that, it just scares the shit out of me. That I'm gonna run over something, and I can't stand seeing it on the side of the road. Whether that's a hedgehog, a squirrel, a fox, a cat. Oh my God, I'm the fucking worst. I'm in bits.
When I was about 7, I was walking down a road with my mum one time, and we were walking back to her car, and I saw a cat standing in the middle of the pavement, and I could see that it was looking at me. It was getting ready to run. So being a 7-year-old boy, I ran at it to try and scare it, and it bolted out into the middle of the road, and it got run over by a car. And I've never forgotten that. Nowadays, I won't go near a cat in the street because I do not want that to happen. Yeah. But if I see a cat sitting on the wall on my side of the road, I'll cross to the other side of the road to get past it.
Yeah, I do things like that because you know that they're skittish. Yeah. And they're going to bolt at some point. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? And you think, oh, I can't be doing that. Do you know, I don't want that on my conscience.
I think the stupidest animals are pheasants for that sort of thing. I think that God just made them to be fodder for hunters, like obviously hunt them and shoot them. Other animals, like I go to my local park with my dog, and there are pheasants in this park. And the only reason we know that there are pheasants in this park is because occasionally we see them. But if they're hiding in the long overgrown grass in the shrubbery, they don't just hide, they keep on making sounds. It's like they're hiding and they just want to go, I'm hiding over here, don't come here, like, I'm hiding, so just leave me be, all right? And that's what, like, and then you see them, they can fly a bit, but they walk across the road and then they get hit. And I saw one get hit on the motorway one time and it was just feathers everywhere, fucking explosion of feathers. But pheasants are... I swear they are just there to get killed. That's just what their purpose in life is. Like lemmings.
It's even worse with my dad's run over a pheasant quite a couple now because his property down in Devon now. Pheasants everywhere. Oh, yeah. Absolutely everywhere.
Yeah. I mean, I was going to Cranley I think I was going down to Cranley or somewhere like that, and I turned onto a motorway, and all of a sudden like, we got diverted into one lane,
Mm.
and as we was going down in the other lane, there was all these cones around a huge fucking deer. I mean, it was a deer. It had big fucking antlers, and it looked like a fucking. It was massive. It was laying dead in the middle of the fucking road.
Mm.
Oh my god! I mean, it was just. You just want. I know it sounds horrible, but you wanted to take a photo of it because it's such a majestic animal.
Yeah.
It was so beautiful. It was like a white colour. It wasn't a brown. It was like a white, huge fucking stag or something. It was massive.
You should go to Bushy Park. Have you ever been Bushy Park over in Richmond or near Richmond?
Yeah.
And they got the deer in there.
I for a walk there a couple of weeks back.
Yeah, I went there a few weeks ago, and you can, if you're lucky, they all conglomerate around one area, and you can pull the branches off the tree and just give it to them.
Yeah.
I watch from a distance. You can do what you want to do.
They
I
are
can appreciate
filthy
it.
fucking animals. You can see that they are just crawling with parasites, and if you get up close to them, they don't look quite so majestic anymore. They look good from a distance. I remember I saw a video once of a sloth walking across a busy road, and all the cars had stopped for it, and it was taking so long that someone got out of his car and ran over and just picked it up and carried it across.
Oh, well, that's the one where the clip where they put "I believe I can fly" over it.
Yeah.
So it picks it up. It's like
Yeah, because he just goes.
Footage where there's the tiniest little kitten in the middle of the lane.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
that guy stops. Yeah.
The guy stops, gets out his car and goes and picks it up, takes it with him. Who would put it? I've been going through Gillingham. I was flying through Gillingham at one point, and a dog has come out of a window in front of us. It looked like a big fucking bulldog, not a bulldog. I mean, imagine a bulldog cross Jack Russell type thing. It looked like a Jack Russell, but it was big, fat fucker with little legs.
Yeah.
Came out and just it rolled. They stopped the car, opened the door, it got up, run back in. But it'd come out the window. I mean, we was doing about 40. Do you know what I mean? I wanted to get out and smack the guy.
Yeah.
Why the fuck have you got your window open that much when you've got a dog in the car?
So many people
stupid.
they let their dog do that. They stick their head out the window and then
I know, it fucking annoys me.
It is. It's because it's irresponsible. And apart from the fact that the dog could get hurt, it could also cause trouble for other drivers around if the dog falls out like that. It's mental.
I mean, I have my dog in the car. Well, I've always had my dogs in the car, but I've always made sure that they're harnessed in.
Yeah.
And I've got a thing that clips into the seatbelt thing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
even if I stop, they can't go anywhere.
Mm.
But it's just the things I've seen, it's just quite upsetting, some of it. Do you know what I mean?
So, some people just shouldn't be allowed to have animals. I think that they don't know how to look after them, irresponsible with them, or you see all these incidents that come up where a kid has been attacked by a dog, and it's like that person should not have had that dog. They shouldn't.
Yeah, because you know that person's snorting Charlie, drinking beer and trying to teach you to kill things.
Yeah.
I will not allow my dogs to chase anything.
No.
That squirrels, birds. I mean, I've only had him for a while, couple of weeks, and yet we walk through the park and he doesn't chase anything. He'll have a look at it, but he won't chase it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's just I don't want that. Do you know what I mean? I don't want my dog chasing after birds and squirrels and whatever. The only thing he has a problem with is people's footballs.
No.
He
Yeah.
doesn't understand that that's not his
Yeah.
toy. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, hang on a minute, there's a football over there.
Yeah.
I'm having that.
That is a common one. I see that because I play football in Sunday League, and sometimes we're down the park having a match, and a dog comes running onto the pitch. Some dog walker in the park. Yeah, and their dog, even though that ball is far away from them, they still think it's theirs. They come running over straight into the middle of our game.
I'll tell you, growing up we had dogs, loads of dogs, from Alsatians to Samoyeds, you know, with everything in between.
Yeah.
And I kind of obviously was out of my house by the time I was 17, and this is the first time I've had a dog since I was 17. And now I'm an adult. I think I'm an adult. Now I'm an adult, and I'm just, over the last 2 weeks I've been walking him and everything. Wow. I mean, wow. And I am sorry, I've noticed he farts at the moment. It's just stinky bum, but he's so beautiful, look at him. I will put photos on because I love my boy. But wow, the whole dog walking phenomena and meeting other people with dogs, and
Yeah.
it's just like a whole new world. It's this whole new world's opened up to me.
Some people, their whole life revolves around it. They just meet their friends in the park with their dogs.
Yeah. I mean, he was taking a dump, so to be frank. So I'm waiting there with my bag and my gloves on and tissue and waiting for him to finish. And I saw this guy coming up behind me. He was like 6'5", 6'6". And he's come out, I think he's got a staff, I'm not sure, I don't know what these dogs are. It's got like a weird slopey face, head slopes like that. Anyway.
Oh, the bull terrier, the English,
Yeah, he's got one of them. And he comes up, he goes, oh mate, I lovely dog, what is it? I went, it's one of them frogs, you know. Or I'm going to be posh and pronounce it frug. You know what I mean? Frog sounds like right shit, doesn't it?
Yeah.
But I was chatting to him and he looked at me and he went, you been in Malden all your life? Like, I went, well, no, I was born in Lambeth, lived in Battersea, moved to Malden when I was a kid, grew up here, moved away, come back again. Curse of Malden, right? No matter where you move to, you end up fucking coming back again for some reason. And he went, no, I said, yeah, I've been in Malden. He said, I went to Garth School. I went, I went to Garth School. He went, oh, I thought I recognised you. Do you remember me? And I'm looking at him thinking, shit, don't ask me that. I've done so many drugs and shit, I can't remember my own fucking name half the time. He went, I used to have blonde hair. Thinking, I'm going for all these people thinking, and then he went, oh, I won't name him just in case. He went, it's me, do you remember me? And I went, oh yeah, you used to do boxing. Yeah. And it was weird, absolute weird. I mean, I haven't spoken to this guy since 1984, right? Since we left school. I left school on my birthday, May 15th, 1984. I was out that fucking door, right? That was it for me, done. Not going back, don't give a shit, I'm gone, right? And we just started talking as if it was 1984 again. Like we'd never been apart. It was weird. It's weird dog walking, man. It's like this whole new world to me. And you get to meet all the other dogs. Little dogs come up and then you learn their names and it's weird. It's weird. I'm loving it. It's kind of, I don't want to say I'm dogging, but I'm out there being a dogger, I suppose. And so...
The 6'5" guy used to be a boxer.
Oh mate, listen, I remember once, I don't want to name him, but he was good. I picked a fight with him once. This is how I remember him. Woodwork. Picked a fight with him. And like an idiot, pick a fight with a boxer.
Yeah.
Right? I've got to throw a punch and all of a sudden he's hit me with this flurry of punches and I'm up on the table. Thinking, what the fuck, did I just get raped? What the fuck happened there? You know what I mean? Picked myself off the table, the nearest thing to me was a mallet. So you know what I'm like when I'm getting revenge?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But he just fucking annihilated me with them punches. It was like, I was on top of this table. I was laying there going, what the fuck? What happened there? Do you know what I mean?
Well, so what did you think of, because I know that you like your boxing, what did you think of Anthony Joshua knocking out Klitschko?
Right, I'm telling you now, that was pre-set. Anyone who knows boxing, and I've known boxing, my dad was a boxer, and I boxed. Yeah. It was pre-set. Because there was a round that Klitschko could have knocked him out. Yeah,
because he floored him, didn't he?
He floored him, and he could have took him out, but he pulled back, and he let him get through the round. And he let him get through the next round. And I'm thinking, why are you doing this? He's hurt, he's unsteady, you've got the power to finish this, you could finish this in a matter of seconds. Any boxer will know this. But you allowed him to come back. And I don't think he really... For me, it was, I'm going to take a loss so that the rematch is hundreds of millions.
It's possible, but Klitschko's not a young man, though, is he?
Klitschko could have knocked him out. He was hurt. He was fucking hurt, mate. And he was unsteady. And he was ready for the taking. And Klitschko backed the fuck off.
Well, if that's the case, I don't know if maybe Klitschko wanted to test himself, see if he could win. Saw that knew that he could.
Match, you knocked the cunt out, you take his titles, you're the world champion again.
But then,
You
like,
don't back off
I don't know if he.
survive.
But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I know that you've never been convinced about Anthony Joshua, but
Well, if Klitschko, an old man, can hurt him like that, he's got no hope in the business.
yeah, I don't know.
When he
Like
comes up
Klitschko was
against
good though.
somebody,
Klitschko
I
was on
reckon
form.
Tyson Fury's going to knock him the fuck out.
I don't think Tyson Fury is going to box again.
No, but if he did, he'd knock him out.
Mm.
He ain't got no hope. I mean, for me, if Klitschko can hurt you like he did, then what are you going to do when you're up against somebody that's got a great punch and is a lot fucking younger? If that's what you've got, if that's it, get the fuck out of boxing now.
Mm.
But to me, it was just, for me, it was a case of Klitschko could have took him out in that round. Without a shadow of a doubt. Could have knocked him out and game over, thank you very much. But he backed off. And I'm thinking, why are you backing off? Fucking hit him. You could knock him out. He's out on his fucking feet, for fuck's sake. He's out. Finish it. And Klitschko's a finisher.
Yeah.
He's a fucking finisher.
Yeah, all of his wins virtually have been knockouts, haven't they?
Right. Why are you not finishing this? Because if I take a loss, imagine what I'm going to get for the rematch. And at the end, in the ring, they went, will you be having a rematch? And what was his words? Do you remember? Yes, already in the contract.
That's a bit stupid.
Did he not say that? Do you remember him saying that?
Yeah.
It's already in the contract.
But that was a hell of a
Set up. What a
like-
fucking waste of time.
Yeah, but I mean, if
He
that's
could have
what he
knocked
did,
him out. As
if-
simple as that, he could have knocked him the fuck out.
But I'm saying, like, he took a pretty fucking hefty knockout himself. I wouldn't have liked to have lost the fight in that way. Maybe he planned to just lose on points at the end or something, because that uppercut.
But he still planned to lose.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
it's
yeah.
in the contract that he
Yeah.
gets a rematch. So, I wouldn't allow the rematch. Because I think it was a setup. I'm not convinced still about Anthony Joshua, because if Klitschko wanted to finish it, if he was in the mind to finish it, he would have finished it.
I think the fact that Joshua's been around for a few years now, and his biggest fight so far is Klitschko, and Klitschko is the age that he is. It just shows the lack of talent in heavyweight boxing nowadays.
Well, sadly, yeah. I mean, there was Price, but he ended up not being much.
Yeah.
Fucking Fury's gone.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and he was a character, wasn't he, Fury?
There's not much out there. But again, see, this is the thing about boxing that pisses me off. It was the same with Amir Khan. It was the same with, what was his name? Oh, for fuck's sake. They get him through the Olympics. And then they get him in the ring as a professional. Audley Harrison. And they fight nobodies. I don't mean to be nasty, but would they fight journeymen?
Yeah.
With 15 losses. And they build up their numbers, and now he's 12-0, now he's 15-0. Well, he's fought 15 people that lose 20 fights in their career.
Yeah.
If he can't win against them, he shouldn't be in fucking boxing, right? And it's always the same. But when you come in against somebody that's got a fucking punch, and you're going to fight a real fucking fighter, they get knocked out. Look at Amir Khan.
Yeah, Amir Khan's got a glass jaw though. He always has had. I think if you come out,
Audley Harrison, exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
They build them up. Oh yeah, great hope, winning the Olympics. And then when they get in against somebody, they fight all these fucking no-opers, and then when they get in against somebody good, they get fucked up. It's just, it's boring now. Boxing's boring.
Yeah.
Gone are the days of fucking Ben and Eubanks and Tyson and, you know.
I think Lennox Lewis was the closest thing towards the end of that era.
Shit.
Yeah, he ended up being disappointing.
And everybody pisses me off about that. Oh, let's say he's English. No, he's fucking Canadian. He's not English. Let's not beat about the bush here. He's not a fucking great English hope. He's Canadian. And I'm not being funny. He got knocked out by fucking Oliver McCall. And then some other guy, I can't think of his name. But he was a fucking nobody who knocked out Lennox Lewis. And Lennox Lewis always dodged Tyson.
Yeah.
When Tyson
Until
was in
Tyson
his
was too
fucking
old.
height,
Yeah,
he
yeah.
would have destroyed Lennox Lewis. He would have fucking embarrassed him.
I think Tyson, there hasn't been a great heavyweight boxer since Tyson.
There will never be another boxer like Tyson.
No.
Ever.
It's like heavyweight boxers for most of my life just haven't been all that. I think even in this era, the only two really great boxers that there have been Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao. But they're both old now. They're not gonna. I mean, they're pretty much retired. The only thing you get nowadays is all this hype talk about Conor McGregor from the UFC coming and fighting Floyd Mayweather.
Yeah.
Even if it happened, it's not going to be a proper fight because they're two completely different types of fighters. It's not the same. And plus, there's the fact that Conor McGregor's in his 20s and Floyd Mayweather's in his 40s.
I mean, boxing, heavyweight boxing's fucked at the moment.
Yeah.
There's not really much there. There are some other fighters out there that are below the heavyweight that are really good.
Yeah, there are some fast punches and some good moves.
Some nice boxers out there, but it ain't. See, another thing that fucking annoys me. For me, I mean, I watch the boxing, right? But when you're struggling as a family, or you're young and you don't earn a lot of money, to then have to pay the amount
those
of money that you pay
things
to watch a fight, it's disgraceful.
It is, yeah.
Because you're paying your TV licence, first of all. Then on top of that, you probably have to pay either Sky or a fucking Virgin or something to get, unless you're Freeview, right? But for me, it should be for the people, shouldn't it? Sport. It's not about money. If it's about money, then don't bother.
It's because of the amount of money in the big fights now. The amount of money that everyone involved is getting paid is obscene. When Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao had that fight, Mayweather took over $100 million in their contract for that. I don't know how much Pacquiao took, but fucking hell.
I mean, if we can watch like the World Cup
on free.
Normal television.
Yeah.
Well, I say normal television if you've got Sky or Virgin or even Freeview.
But you can watch it on BBC or
BBC
ITV.
or ITV, This is the thing. If we can do it with the World Cup, then I'm sure we can do it 5 times a year with a boxing match.
Yeah.
Just charge the people that are going to advertise in between the ring, because there's always an advert in between the rounds.
Yeah.
Just charge them more money. But for me, it's disgraceful. Charging people to watch boxing
on
or
TV,
football or whatever, any sport, you should not be doing pay-per-view. It's fucking rank.
Yeah.
I mean, that happens. That's been out of every, kind of even entertainment-wise for industry, because gaming used to not have microtransactions, and now if you want any, you used to unlock the costumes by playing it. Now you have to pay a little bit for every little item, even some of them which outplay the game or be able to get past the hardest bosses. Sometimes that happens. It's a bit like, oh no, you need to pay to get good. It's a bit like, no, I paid 40 quid for this.
Yeah.
Why do I have to pay more?
Bits. Yeah.
I can't understand why people still charge to watch something when you can earn the amount of money you do through advertising. Just get the advertising around it better. Get some promotion going, which is going to bring in even more money.
Yeah, and how
then
much
put
the tickets
it on normal television.
And the tickets to be ringside or in the stadium where it's happening. It's usually in Vegas, isn't it? The big fight nights in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
The amount of money that's involved in it already before they take in the revenue from the pay-per-view TV.
But it's that rich poor thing again, isn't it? Which really fucking annoys me, you know. Where I remember being young and, you know, I used to go into, I mean, I was probably out of school by this time, but I remember going into work and, who watched the Alan Minter fight last night? Or who watched this last night? Or, you know, when it was on normal television, you know, you'd wait, and then you'd watch a normal fight on normal fucking television, and you could go into school the next day, or you could go into work the next day and have something to talk about. But now it's like, oh, did you see the fight? Well, no, and you have to make excuses. These poor people making excuses.
Yeah.
Well, that's the capitalist way
Yeah.
to the extreme point. But that's the same with any kind of fundamental list theory of society. If you go to the extreme and that's the only way you go, it gets fucked up at some point.
Yeah.
And corrupt.
Really,
you shouldn't go a whole way.
what they should do is just not go.
Yeah.
Just not watch it.
Just boycott it.
Boycott it.
Yeah.
Boycott it. The next 5 pay-per-views, boycott it.
The thing is,
And then see what happens.
it's mostly poorer people who are interested in watching boxing as well. So the rich people that are profiting off it are profiting off the fact that poorer people have been saving up money for ages so that they can pay to watch it, whether it's to go to the event or to...
That's the way it's been for the last 40 years in society in general.
Yeah.
In Western society.
See, this is why, I miss people like Prince, you know, who refuses to do, he refused to do a gig if you paid more than £50 for a ticket.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because, I paid for 2 people, I think it was around £360 just to go and see the Hoodoo Quadrophenia. Now, I'm going to go and see that because I'm a Quadrophenia fanatic. But, 360 quid for 2 people. Prince would have been like, yeah, £100, both of you in, sweet as a nut. And I've seen him live, he was on 3 hours. 3 hours.
So you'd get your money's worth rather than...
Yeah, he went past curfew.
Rather than the band coming on late and then...
I'm going to get sued for this, but fuck
getting
it.
off when they're supposed to.
And carried on going for another hour. Brought out Larry Graham from fucking Sly and the Family Stone. Do you know what I mean? It was like, oh, this can't get any better. You know what I mean? But this is the thing, you know? It's like, anything to make money. And if it becomes about money, then stop it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
if
not
that
about
becomes the
love
main...
anymore.
Yeah. Obviously, money's always going to be a factor, but when money becomes the main focus, then yeah.
Yeah, this is it. I'm only boxing to get the millions and millions. Then don't fucking box then because you're in it for the wrong thing.
Yeah.
It's like people that get into the music industry, and we all know this. I mean, us three, especially because we're in it. If you get into the music industry to become famous and rich, then you're going to get let the fuck down. But if you're in it because you love what you do, you love making music, there's a thrill in writing a song, and there's an amazement of when you listen back to that finished thing and you go, wow, you know, and you put it out into the world. Whether that becomes fucking big or whether it doesn't, it's the fact that you did it.
Yeah.
The love of doing it. It's not about this song's going to make me £10 billion. Yeah, that would be nice, but if you're in it because of that, then it's the wrong thing to be doing. You know, you do something for the love of it, and sport should be that. It should be that.
Yeah.
You're in it for the win. You're in it for the medals, and you're in it for the belts. If you're in it for the millions and millions, and to segregate people that can't afford to watch it, then you're in the fucking wrong thing. But that's just me.
Cool.
I was thinking we'd be talking for a long time.
Yeah, we have
Rant
now.
over.
Well, I think that's probably a good place to leave it off. Let's leave it off at around.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening. We'll see you next time.
Toodaloo.
Or see you. You'll hear us.
See you later. I'm so sorry for the coughing all the way through. I will try and be a lot better for the next time we have a podcast.
Emilio!
Bye.